Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Crescent Sound podcast, where I give you a platform to express your struggle stories. You can either email me your stories on thecrescentsound@gmail.com and I present them on the podcast for you, or I can have you come on as a guest on the podcast and you can tell your story by yourself. Anyways, I'm your host, Luna, and let's begin with today's episode. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the ninth episode for this podcast. And today I have a really special guest with me. And I've been friends with this person for a very long time, for a couple years now, actually. I think we met in 2020. I'm not too sure. Okay, anyways, yes. Anyways.
2019.
2019? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What, like 5 years now? Okay, oh my goodness.
About
Anyways,
5.
everyone, please welcome Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hello.
So, Nick, how's your day going so far?
It's going pretty alright. Had to deal with the outage this morning, but I'm glad to be here, glad to assist.
Well, I'm so glad to have you here too. I'm so happy to talk to you after so long. It's been ages since I heard your voice.
It's a very long time since we had a solid conversation.
Yeah, it has. So, Nick, would you like to say something about yourself?
Well, currently I am doing some side mason work, and I like taking care of animals, and hopefully I will be able to go into the medical field one day.
Oh my god. That you sound so smart. Sorry. Okay, so Nick, since we're here, you're here to tell your story, right?
Yes, of course. My story.
Your story.
How
Sparkle,
how
sparkle.
shall I start?
You can
Well-
start from anywhere.
Let's talk about high school. My full
dun,
high
dun.
school experience
High school.
was not the best. I am part of a neurodivergent group of people, and so having and going to school, thankfully I was also homeschooled at the time, was very rough for me. I would wake up a lot of times in the early afternoons to get up and do schoolwork, and I would really dread every thought of it, even if it could be seen by definition on the average intelligence very simple, because I just could not sit still. I could not grasp a lot of the concepts. I would basically do everything in my power to weasel out of every single project that I had due, and I would just sit there and just try and do the bare minimum all the time. Every single day I would go up and I would just play games all the time, and it was not necessarily the smartest thing I could have done with my time. I was very depressed at the time. I thankfully did have some peers that would actually come and hang out and keep me going, basically. But if you were to go and ask me at that time of, am I going to be able to do anything with my life? Am I going to be able to even pass high school? I genuinely would tell you, I don't think I'm going to pass this with flying colors. I could barely do basic algebra. I could barely cohesively read. My comprehension skills were well below average at the time. And once I kind of got towards the end of high school, I kind of sort of realized that I'm not necessarily as dumb as I think I am a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the time, and I still struggle with that.
Yeah, you're a really smart person, Nick.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been very difficult, and it is still extremely difficult for me to go and tell myself, especially when it comes to education and such, of
Mm-hmm.
I am able to do this, and I can power through a lot of it because I do have the skills and I am capable a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the time. But I have a very strong dislike for just education in general, and it has definitely hindered me in a
Mm-hmm.
large portion of my life.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, well, I guess like growing up with that sort of mentality, it sort of sticks with you whenever anything of that sort comes along until you have like some sort of big revelation moment, which quite realistically does not happen a lot.
Hmm.
So, like, I mean, back in your high school, did you have like any teachers or like some other peers that were like kind of, how should I say, dismissive of your situation?
I had thankfully never had a teacher who was dismissive of me at all because
Mm-hmm.
of I went to a co-op, which is a group of moms, parents who took their children who were mainly homeschooled or did like light public schooling, and they would run programs like gym, certain science classes, some ecological studies.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would go once a week and you would sign up for classes and you would have homework due throughout that whole week. But I never had anybody in my life personally that personally attacked me for who I was. It was all within my head. It also did not help that both of my siblings were in the educational stance smarter than me by
Mm-hmm.
a long, long shot, and so that really put a toll on me being I'm not good enough because I'm not like X person, or I'm not like X person because they were educationally smarter than me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at what point did you realize that like your educational smarts aren't actually like the only thing that define you? Like,
Very recently, extremely, extremely recently, like probably within the last 2 to 3 years.
mm-hmm.
It was a very hard thing for me to overcome and still currently working to overcome.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm still so proud of you for realizing that, even if it was recent. I mean, high school is long gone. It was a horrible experience for you. I can understand that. But I
Hmm.
mean, as long as you can look back and like think that like, yeah, like that part of me is like gone now. You know,
Right.
so that's
I
good.
I try.
It's okay. I'm very proud of you because
Thank you.
like knowing you for all this time, it's like I really like talking to you and like you're really nice.
Hmm.
So I mean, hearing you have like such a terrible high school experience is kind of sad. Because like such a nice person, you don't deserve all that.
Hmm.
And I mean, so wait, what made you start to internalize like this sort of, I guess, imposter syndrome? I guess like, was there a particular thing that made you like feel like that, like your parents or like were your siblings perhaps like that?
I think it mainly just came with time and having my brain mature a lot and looking back on a lot of other terrible situations that I put myself in,
Mm-hmm.
and it just allowed me to sort of click in my head of, oh, I'm not so bad. And working with other people outside of the family, because everybody in my family is extremely intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
it helped me recognize that, not to downplay that people are dumb, but I'm right there with them, and I'm maybe not as stupid or as silly as I see myself.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I guess, yeah. I mean, with honestly, when you grow up, you start to see these things, and you know, feel a little envious, I guess, if that's the right
Mm-hmm.
word. Mm,
And envy would be a fantastic word from the middle to high school and how I felt constantly.
okay, I
And
see.
anxious and envious of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, overall, like when you look back at high school and middle school, what's your like main takeaway? I guess.
My main takeaway would be if you want to still do it, it is still very much possible, no matter how much it may take you.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And
that's a
powering
good
through is very
takeaway.
important.
Mm-hmm. Um. So, Nick, would you like to tell us anything else? Any last words of advice or any last words of like wisdom that you would like to impart?
Sure. Really, no matter your struggle, you will be able to power through it. I believe that wholeheartedly, no matter who you are or what you're faced against.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are putting yourself in your, if you put yourself in your own way, you are able to dig yourself out of the hole that you dug yourself in.
Mm-mm. That's good advice. I like that advice.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think I have much to add except, well, like, obviously, you're a very brave person, Nick. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you probably don't agree with me on this. Like, you always tell me that, like, no, you don't know me like that. It's not true. But I mean, I wholeheartedly do believe you're a very nice person. You're very brave, and you're very strong. And I'm very proud of you for like developing in this way. And like, I don't know how you treat others, but like the way you treat me, it makes me feel like you're a great person. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. And I try. I try to be a good person.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can never be good all the time. It's just the truth. Like you can't always be kind. You can't always be good. You're gonna be the bad guy sometimes. That doesn't make you evil, so it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I
You will
guess.
always be the villain in somebody's story.
Well, yeah, you'll never be the hero in everyone's story. You'll always be the villain in someone's story, at least one person. Yeah,
Right.
a lot of people don't like Mother Teresa. I mean,
That's
never mind. I
true.
shouldn't talk about that. Anyways, yeah, thank you so much, Nick, for coming on the podcast. I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate
Yes,
your
thank you.
presence here.
Thank you for inviting me and listening to my tales of tragedy.
I mean, okay, that's one way to describe it. But thank you for being here,
Yes,
and
thank you.
thank you so much for everyone watching. And this will be the end for today's episode. Bye bye. Thank you for watching this episode of The Crescent Sound. I hope you enjoyed and continue visiting this channel for more uploads. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to know immediately when I upload, and follow me on Instagram for updates on the coming episode for the Crescent Sound podcast.